Well, good morning. It's Marcus, and I am zooming to Queensland today, where I'm speaking to Ben Hall of the Butterfly Effect. The Butterfly Effect are coming and doing an Australian tour, which is coming to Adelaide, not very far away. We're going to speak to Ben right now. Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Good morning, Marcus. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's your week gone so far?
It's been a busy one, mate. We're deep into rehearsals, so it's been a couple of late nights, and it's fun. It's been quite fun, and there's lots of sort of moving parts with the show, with strings and keys and that sort of thing. So we're just kind of tightening all those screws and making sure that we can actually play it, obviously.
Yeah. And so rehearsals have gone quite well.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's nice to be like I think when you announce a tour 6 months out, 6 months out, it's kind of 5 months of anxiety and then a month of actually, really getting into it, getting excited and getting ready. So yeah, it's nice to be behind the kit and have the guys in the room. We're kind of each other's security blankets. So
Fantastic. Well, we'll get up to the tour in a minute. Let's go back to the beginning. Your music has been described as a blend of alternative rock, progressive rock, metal elements. How do you define your sounds, and what influence do you think, especially kicking off, what influences do you think really shaped it?
oh yeah, look, I would describe our sound as I think it's alternative rock. I don't think we've got enough odd time signatures to fit into the progressive music category. But yeah, so I think alt rock has kind of been it. We were born from, well, I mean, Kurt's AC/DC through and through. He can play pretty much every song if you ask him. Um, but that kind of, I guess, our common interest with Clint probably lands somewhere around sort of Faith No More, Deftones, Soundgarden, in that space.
And look, your lyrics often touch on deep and emotional themes. What inspires, do you think, your songwriting, and how do you approach, the creative process of writing the lyrics?
Um, I mean, Clint will generally do most of the lyric writing himself. I think he draws from, obviously, I think earlier there's a lot of life experience. I guess that would actually probably be the same on the newer material. I think he generally it's an interesting process because usually within probably the first 2 or 3 times of Clint, you know, so the way that it works for us in the room is that Kurt will bring in an idea, and then him and I will sort of sit in there and flesh it out, and then Clint will come in when there might be a verse and a chorus idea sort of starting to really shape up, and then he'll come in, and within probably 5 minutes he will have sung, you know, probably something that is quite consistent several times, and then within that also will become one defining lyric that'll kind of, which is usually the emotion that he's probably picking up from the melodies and the feel of what we've written so far, and then he'll go from there and craft his lyrical genius around it. So it's like I said, some of it is very close to his heart, and that's usually the stuff that he won't let on. We've asked him for a few different meanings for songs, and it's like, oh, that one's not for you. Uh, but but as a general rule, I think it's just quite good with words and quite good at telling a story.
The band formed in 1999, of course, which you'd well know, with then a self-titled album that came out in 2001. How did the bands come together in the beginning? How did it all form?
So Kurt and I went to school together, high school together. So I met Kurt in 1993, I think it was. It's a long time ago, wasn't it? And then we had a band. So the Butterfly Effect actually had a different singer and a different bass player. And then I met Clint, who was living with a friend of ours, Kim, the singer from Dead Letter Circus. And he sang over some of the demos that we had, and it was pretty immediate. Kind of went, okay, that's pretty special. Took us from being probably a pretty average run of the mill band to being something that was definitely not that anymore with those vocal pipes. So yeah, and then from then the original bass player, played on the EP, and then he left not long after the release of that, and Glenn joined, who was a friend of Quint's. It was 2002, and then it's been the same lineup since.
So when you guys do have a bit of a lineup change, how do you regroup together to make sure you're on track and you're all in sync together, essentially?
I think I mean, through different periods of the band, like right now, Glenn lives in Sydney, so we don't really see him a great deal. So he's the bass player. So a lot of the last record was written. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff actually was written even before Clint went on his hiatus in 2012. All the new stuff was essentially written by Kurt, Clint, and myself in the room, and then we would send the demos to Glenn, and he would put his parts on them. So we've always managed to find a way to get the sort of writing process done. If it's just Kurt and I, or if it's Kurt, myself, and Glenn, or Kurt, myself, and Clint. Usually, Kurt and I will definitely sort of shape most of the ideas, and then either Clint or Glenn would come in and sort of give it another spin, take it in a different direction. But so this time around, it was definitely sort of the Clint, myself, and Kurt that did most of the shaping. But as I said, like, it's kind of, there's always someone's got to do the job. It's not going to do itself, so you kind of find a way to make it happen.
Going back to when you were a younger kid, and you obviously had a passion for music, who were some of the artists that you were listening to when you were a young boy that really drove you to want a career in this industry?
So the other day, actually, Helmet, Sepultura were definitely a big one. Silverchair, where I was 13 when Silverchair first came out. So I was lucky enough my uncle used to manage a venue up here they played at, and he got me, snuck me in the back door, and I think it was their first ever show in Brisbane. And that blew my mind that, 14, 15-year-old kids could be doing that. So I think that kind of set in stone the fact that I thought it seemed pretty cool. And Kurt and I, at pretty much that juncture, had left maths class to do drum lessons, not really because we had an interest in music, but more so we just didn't have an interest in maths. And then we sort of, that was probably the beginning of the musical journey, was there, avoiding maths, which I shouldn't have done. I probably should have stayed in maths. It would have been a much better idea. But here we are, so.
It worked out.
It did, that's right. We ended up getting to see the world together. So, I mean, he's a jerk some days too, but we've managed to survive. His friendship survived, or whatever that is, a long time. 30 years almost, I think.
Do you get to like when you guys all get together, your dinners, your trips down to the bars, all that kind of stuff? Do you get to have some downtime, or is it always kind of work related?
I think, like, obviously, this getting ready for the tour is pretty work related, but recording the last album was by far the most enjoyable experience we've had together. It was very bits and pieces because of COVID, so there was kind of, we did drums in one studio, guitars in another, but for the most part, the second half of it, we kind of all just hung out and we did what we never would have done back in the day, and that was just drank lots of beers and just laughed and had a really good time. So that, after however long it's been, 20 years of releasing the first record, is nice to finally hit that kind of just that place where everyone's happy and enjoying what they're doing, and there's no pressure anymore. Like, we're all in our 40s, so it's not how we make our income. So it's kind of actually, if it's not fun, there's no point in doing it. So that's actually made it fun.
Yeah, totally. Hey, so let's go back to the beginning, or not the beginning, but essentially the debut album, or the one that really set your career on fire, which was Begin Here, which was 2003, which makes it now, 21 years old now. So we are talking about the 20th tour of that album. How excited are you to get this one on the road? Are you going to be doing the entire album?
Yeah, yep. So it'll be from start to finish. So that's, I think actually last night was the first rehearsal that we played Overwhelmed, which is a song off the back end of the album that I don't think outside of playing it to record it, we've actually ever played again.
Yeah.
And it was actually like it's fun, just kind of. It's like I look at these opportunities as it's almost like a diary. You go back and you just have a look and see what you're thinking, and it's like a little time capsule where you kind of go, why would you have done that, or why'd you play that deal? And at other times you're like, that was actually bloody awesome. I was doing really good. So it's nice. It is literally just a little time capsule, and stuff back there in 2003 that we're getting to enjoy, replicating or trying to replicate in 2024. We're very lucky, obviously, and it's mind blowing that people like this is the biggest tour we've ever done. I think the Enmore was sold out at 2,500 2 months in advance, and we've never actually done that. We have sold the Enmore out before, but it wasn't as quickly as this has happened. So, we're just grateful, very lucky to be in this position 20 years later.
That's epic. So look, you are coming to Adelaide, playing the Hindley Street Music Hall on the 23rd of February. It's going to be huge. I'm going to be there. I can't wait. But what can the fans expect from the show this time round?
Look, it's going to be different to anything we've ever done. So we're taking keys and some strings players or string player. We're still trying to work that out. But yeah, I think that, there's going to be some. We're not trying to deviate too much from what the album was, but including all of the keys parts and the strings parts in the live show is probably the most exciting part for me. And also that's given us a little bit of freedom to play, between songs and to just have some fun up there. Like obviously playing the songs is excellent, but also just the other little bits, that the intros and outros that you can do with the extra instrumentation is excellent.
When's the last time you played in Adelaide?
We were in Adelaide last year at the Hindley, October, I think.
Okay. How epic is the Hindley Street Music Hall? What a venue, hey?
Oh, mate, it is like because so they also are the owners of the Fortitude Music Hall up here.
That's right.
And they are onto a good thing. Like it's nice to pull into venues, and it's not very rock and roll, but it's nice that they're comfortable, and that place is comfortable. They've got all from front of house to back of house. It's all very well set up.
And the green rooms are epic, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It's like
Stunning.
it's actually nice. It might be nicer than my house.
Yeah, I think I want
to more want to move in.
Fabulous. So I guess between now and when you kick off, when does the actual tour kick off? February?
So 2 weeks, yeah, February 1st.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess it's just like head down, bum up, and just get into those rehearsals. So are you really looking forward to just like finishing up the rehearsals, getting on the road and just doing this thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, it's obviously you want it to be amazing, and you've got ideas of what it's going to look like and sound like in your head. But after thinking about that for 6 months, you're like, we've got to get this started. This tour needs to get on the road. Just you can think about it for a bit too long,
Yeah. And signing off, after the tour, when you get back, to home, etc., to the studio, you got any like little sneak reveals for us of future projects that might be coming along?
Look, I think we've got plenty of music to work on. We have sort of dabbled in writing some new material. I think that's definitely the idea. It's just time constraints. There's like 1,000 kids between us all, and jobs, so it's hard to like. We can kind of really only focus on one thing at a time. I think, and that's probably always been the case with us. We're not the kind of band that can tour and write on the road, or we need to be either getting ready for a tour, getting ready to record an album. It's kind of one thing or the other. So I think when we get back, we'll sit down and have a chat, and I think the vibe's there to definitely pursue a couple of these ideas. So I don't know about an album, but maybe an EP.
The Butterfly Effect is definitely becoming an iconic Australian musical band. It is an absolute pleasure talking to you, Ben, and I wish you all the best with the tour. And I will definitely 100% see you at the Hindley Street Music Hall on February the 23rd. I can't wait for it. So yeah, all the best, and everyone go out and grab your tickets. The Butterfly Effect are amazing live if you've never seen them. And I will see you very soon, Ben.
No worries. Thanks for that, mate. And hey, it's the last show of the tour too, by the way. So any after parties, let's go.
Woo! See you then.
See you, mate.